Hello YouTube, it's Ian here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another light novel review. Today we're going to be looking at Monster Girl Doctor Volume 3. This one is written by Yoshino Origuchi and it's published by Seven Seas, as you guys can see right there. There you go. There you go. And there you go. And again, I don't know the demographic for this, so we're just going to skip that part. And the genres here are fantasy and Monster Girl. And this does not have an adaptation as far as I know. However, in mine, I'm not really sure. I've never been able to find any clips of it or anything like that. So I'm going with the fact that it doesn't exist. However, it is entirely possible that it does. And I'm just dumb and can't look for it correctly. So yeah, the premise here is basically following the return of the village. Glenn now has to help Lady Scatty, the dragon lady, who happens to have a serious illness that has been happening for a while. She basically has like heart cancer, essentially. That's what the idea is. But she's a dragon and it's a magical system, so it's not the same, right? But more or less that's what it is. And Glenn has to help her, and part of helping her is actually getting her to want to live beyond her illness. So it's very interesting. I actually quite like it. I think it's very nicely done. So the plot line here is actually pretty good. It mostly develops Glenn's doctor side, which is something that we haven't really truly looked at in the previous two volumes. Most of the time in the previous two volumes, we spent a lot of time developing Glenn as an individual and developing the monster girls around him as individuals so that we were attached to all the characters. This is probably the first major hey, this is what Glenn is as a doctor, this is what he learned, this is how he's going about being a doctor, and this is how it continues on from there. Very interesting stuff. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. And in general, I'm curious to see more of that, but I thought that the plot line specifically was pretty interesting. It dealt with a lot of stuff that is maybe things that we don't really think of as important for a doctor. In this case, we deal with Glenn not only wanting to save people, but wanting them to live well after they're saved. And specifically, this is actually what makes Scatty eventually decide that she does want to get healed. And it's very meaningful. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed the way Scatty develops, basically all the way through until the end, where she kind of becomes this little sister character, which is a weird dynamic that I don't really love in anime. It's Lolly is by far the worst one, but then I think Emoto is the little sister complex thing. That one is also pretty bad in terms of all of the weird stuff that Japan does in its stories. So I don't love it, but it's still interesting to see her develop from this very cold person into this much more warm-hearted person. So I like that. Overall, I enjoyed the way it worked. Maybe just didn't love where it ended. So that's it for that. The plotline is good overall, though. Characters-wise, like I said, Scatty. However, we do learn a little bit more about her. She's a fire dragon, and she originally was a dragon-shaped creature. She came down from the sky and saw the world at war and wanted to kind of deal with that. And she started working as an arbiter in order to help people. And kind of as she spent more time with people and started to like them more, she slowly started to become less dragon-like and more human-like. And eventually this led to where she is now, where she has developed an illness because basically she has too much magic power is how I understood it. I'm not exactly sure if that's really the case, but that's kind of how it was explained. And the reason why she really doesn't want to live beyond her illness is because she has achieved her goal. She has created a place where humans and monsters can coexist as a group of people, as a society, instead of two individual groups fighting each other all the time. And basically she doesn't really have a reason to live. However, Glenn eventually manages to convince her that, hey, there are reasons to live, and it goes from there. And we also get introduced properly to Cthulhu, who is the older doctor, the lady that runs the academy that teaches people how to be monster doctors, and she also favors Glenn and Safi quite a bit, right? So she shows up, and we get to see that she's kind of she's called a Cilia, which is our these very interesting monsters from Greek mythology, but she basically ends up being like sexy Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean, or more of a like octopus lady. Like the upper half of her body is like a person, and the lower half is like an octopus. So I guess she's more like Ursula from the Little Mermaid, but like sexy. She's like a sexy, like office lady type, with like tentacles, which I think is pretty funny. And I actually kind of like her character. She's kind of weird, but she's also enjoyable, so I liked her overall. Other than that, we have a bunch of characters that you already know from the previous volumes. In terms of world building, we get a lot of Monster Girl lore, specifically for dragons. So we get to learn about a lot about dragons and how they're basically the original monster. Every monster kind of derives from them, and that they're separated into different categories, kind of very D&D-esque, right? You know, there's like different colored types of dragons, and each dragon has its own kind of type. In that case, it's based on color, and the different color correlates to different elements. In this case, it's more like there's different element types, and beyond that, it's very kind of different how every dragon looks, but they generally do fall under these specific types. Scatty is specifically a fire dragon, so there you go. And overall, very good stuff. I really enjoy the amount of lore that just goes into developing these female monsters. It really doesn't end up mattering, I guess, like, but it adds a lot of enjoyable kind of like interest to the story, because you do feel like there's a reason for this stuff, and there's this kind of deeper secret about where monsters come from that I think is very interesting, and hopefully gets explored in later volumes, but I don't really know, so hopefully it does. In terms of artwork, it's good. It's very nice. It looks great. It's kind of very raunchy, but also very good. And in terms of fan service, of course, there is some. However, I guess there's not as much as in other volumes. However, Scatty, even though she's kind of not portrayed as a lolly, she kind of is a lolly. So, you know, if you don't like that, don't read this. However, she really, like, all of the illustrations kind of don't show her as that. However, the way she's described by Glenn in the book definitely does kind of hint that she is kind of a lolly character. So, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Lollies are bad, and I don't like them, but I also don't really care all that much once they're in the show, because whatever, that's just how it is in the show, in the book, or the media that I'm consuming, because it really doesn't matter. As long as you understand that it's not for you, it's fine. Just get over it. It's not that big of a deal, right? So whatever, I don't know. In terms of rating, I'll give this a 4 out of 5. It continues to be really enjoyable, and I definitely want to pick up the next volume. However, I don't know when I'm going to do that, because I bought all 3 of these at a really discounted rate, and I don't really feel that I need to pay full price for one of these. I also never see them in my physical stores that I go visit, so who knows when I'll get the next volume, but I do want to get it eventually. So yeah, if you like the previous 2 volumes, I definitely recommend you read this 3rd one. And in terms of similar titles, of course, there's all the usual Monster Girl stuff, Dragon Maid, Monster Musume, Centaur Life. What's the other one? There's a few other ones, but more or less like that. There's also a Cyclops girl that shows up. So if you like the Cyclops girl, definitely check out the Hitomi-chan nurse thing, where that's like the Cyclops nurse. I can't remember what the name of that anime is, but or the name of that manga is, but check that out as well. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.